Today, we're diving into this website, a Creatives Cafe.
Okay.
It's this really cool corner of the internet,
Okay.
and it's got a little bit of everything: art,
Mm-hmm.
poetry,
Mm-hmm.
reflections on creativity, like the whole thing.
Yeah, very cool.
And I'm excited to kind of dig in with you and see what we find.
Yeah, it seems like a really interesting site. Like, just from the name alone,
Right.
a creatives cafe. It's smart how they use that cafe metaphor, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it's inviting. You can wander through different rooms,
Totally.
at your own pace, different creative expressions.
Exactly. And they're not shying away from some of these big questions either. Like
Well,
they stir up some thought-provoking discussions.
yeah.
One that we were talking about before we started recording was this whole AI and art
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually use AI-generated images on the site.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
they're not afraid to, talk about the elephant in the room.
Mhm.
There's this one blog post, I think it's called Unbelievable.
Okay.
But is this really the future of art? And it's written in this very kind of,
Yeah.
tongue-in-cheek way.
Mm-hmm.
But it tackles these ethical considerations head on.
Oh, interesting.
So you have artists, understandably worried,
Right.
is AI going to replace human creativity?
Yeah. It's a valid concern for sure.
Right, threaten their careers.
Yeah. And then there's,
Yeah.
the legal side of things, too.
Oh, elderly, I didn't even.
Like, who owns the copyright for AI-generated art?
Oh, my God.
Is it the person who programmed the AI? Even if they have zero artistic background, it's such a
Yeah, it's a whole other.
gray area, legally speaking.
It is. Like, even if we acknowledge that AI can be this new creative tool, like, the rules haven't caught up with the technology at all.
Totally. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard to know what to even think sometimes.
It's true. But then there's this flip side where people are like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just a new tool for artists.
Absolutely. A way to push boundaries, explore new ways of expression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, imagine these collaborations.
Yeah, like an artist who's feeding ideas into the AI and getting these results they never could have, achieved on their own. It's wild.
It really makes you question our traditional definitions of, like,
Yeah.
what art is and what creativity is.
Totally. It's not just about the finished product,
Yeah.
but the process,
Right.
like the intention behind it.
And it goes back to that thing we were talking about with AI.
Totally.
It's like, is it really art if the AI is just kind of spitting out?
Right. Is there intent there?
Is there any intention there?
Yeah.
And that gets to the heart of what I think
Yeah.
a Creatives Cafe is trying to do. Like, they just want to spark these conversations.
Totally.
And the way they do it is so cool. Like, they have Edgar Allan Poe's Alone,
Mm-hmm.
and then right next to it, a haiku
Wow.
by Matsuo Basho.
That's really
Can
interesting.
you believe that?
Yeah. What a juxtaposition.
It's such a cool juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And it kind of threw me off at first. I was like, what's the connection here?
Right.
But what's fascinating to me is how,
Mm-hmm.
these pieces, vastly different styles,
Yeah. Totally different culture.
different cultural contexts,
Yeah.
they both tap into this, like,
Yeah.
universal human experience of solitude.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Poe's Gothic imagery. It creates this atmosphere of isolation.
Right.
And then you have Basho's haiku
Right.
with that focus on stillness and nature.
Yes,
Evokes a different kind of solitude, right?
totally.
It's more like quiet contemplation.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how a Creatives Cafe is presenting these side by side.
Right.
Because it's almost like they're subtly saying, look,
Yeah.
there are countless ways to kind of connect with these shared human emotions.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's a powerful reminder that art, in whatever form it takes, can help us feel less alone,
Yeah. I love that.
even in our increasingly, like, tech-driven world.
Especially now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel isolated
Yeah, for sure.
with all the technology we have.
Yeah, and that idea of connection really resonates, especially now when
Right.
it's like technology can sometimes make us feel more isolated,
Right. Yeah.
even with all these ways of, like, staying in touch.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Is
It's
it?
like a paradox almost. And this is where I think this poem,
Okay.
Know Your Mind by Susan Downs, I think it's so important that they included this.
I was just going to say the
Yeah.
same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, it's such a perfectly timed counterpoint
Yeah.
to all this talk about
Right.
AI and technology and,
It's like they knew, you know what I mean?
yeah, totally. It's like they knew we needed to hear this.
Yeah.
This poem, because it's urging us to look inward, to kind of find that quiet space within ourselves.
To just be with ourselves for a minute.
Yes. And I think that's like almost a radical act
Totally.
in today's world.
In today's world, to close our eyes and just be quiet, you know?
It's so true.
Like, just to be quiet for a second and actually hear our own thoughts.
Yeah.
Downs reminds us that, like, this inner peace, this self-awareness, it's there.
It's always there.
We just have to kind of create the space for it.
You know, this really hits home for me because I am so guilty
Yeah.
of getting caught up in the constant
Oh, me too.
stream of information.
Yeah.
And just like checking my phone constantly, notifications, like
It's addictive.
it's so addictive. It really is.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just have to be like, okay,
Yep.
put the phone down, step away from all the screens.
Just breathe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just like reconnect with myself.
Totally. Because it's in that space of stillness,
Yeah.
where we can really connect
Yes.
with ourselves and with others.
And the world around us. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that saying,
Like,
you can't pour from an empty cup.
oh, I love that.
Like, if we're not taking care of ourselves,
Yeah.
our own well-being, how can we really be there for others?
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's such a powerful message, especially seeing it here on this website.
And
Like,
on a Creatives Cafe. Yeah. It really is inspiring. You know, it's like a Creatives Cafe is this like oasis in this like crazy digital world we live in. You know?
yeah, it's like they're reminding us to, like, slow down for a second, you know?
Yes.
And appreciate the beauty around us
Yes.
and connect with that creative part of ourselves to spark new ideas, like, and new connections.
Totally. It's like they curated, it's not even just about the content.
Right.
It's like they curated a whole mood.
A whole atmosphere that makes you just want to, like,
Just be there.
hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So, you know, as you're going about your day today.
Maybe you'll find your own creative cafe, you know?
Totally.
That place or that person or that thing that helps you kind of connect a little bit deeper with yourself and the world. And, you know, who knows what creative sparks might ignite. Feed your soul, I guess.
I love that.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you later.